Hey, welcome back. The NHL and Adidas teamed up to design some new reverse retro jerseys for each of the 31 NHL hockey teams. Today they released those designs. So I thought it would be fun to go through them, give my thoughts on their design, and throw them in a tier list. Note that all of this is only my opinion and it's okay to disagree. But then you'll just have to be wrong. Before we get into it though, I've got to come clean about something. This is my third different video idea / script I've written this week. I was going to do the Crocs video because everyone seemed to like that video idea way more than the Electoral College idea. Then I was going to do a video about how graphic design decided a presidential election, and now, 2 days before I have to post the video, I'm changing my mind again. I decided to do another tier list video today for several reasons. First, I love hockey, and haven't made a hockey related video yet. Second, I love design and critiquing things, and these videos are probably the best way to do both of those. And lastly, and most importantly, they're fairly easy to edit, which is really good because I don't have a lot of time to do that. I just thought I'd let you know that in case you really wanted the Crocs video. I promise it's still on the way, along with the other video I mentioned. So, with my conscience clear, let's get to the tier list. Alright, up first we've got the Anaheim Ducks jersey. I like the color choice. I like the logo, I think it's unique. Another unique thing is this jersey is the only one with this specific font. The one thing I don't like though is that the duck is bursting from blue ice, or I guess kind of that greenish color. To me it looks like he's bursting from the ocean, which just kind of throws me off a little bit, but I still think it's a pretty neat design. I think I'll just put this one in B tier. Up next we've got the Arizona Coyotes, and I really like this design. I like the colors, and I like the logo, but my favorite thing about this design is the trim at the bottom. Almost every other jersey on this list just has stripes on the bottom, but this one has like a cool design with cactuses, the moon, some mountains. It's cool. I think the Arizona Coyotes deserve to be an S tier. It's just a really neat looking jersey. Alright, up next we've got the Boston Bruins. Now I'm not a huge fan of this one. I think the yellow is way too bright. It like almost hurts to look at it. I don't know, it's not all that interesting. I think it's a C tier jersey. Up next we have the Buffalo Sabres, and I think it's a pretty cool design. I kinda wish they had done something with the red and black instead of the blue and gold, but the blue and gold still does work. I like how they use a lot of blue and gold on the swords. Overall, I'd say it's another B tier jersey. After that, we've got the Calgary Flames. I wish they still had their old logo. That's so much cooler than the C. This one's a really neat jersey. I like that the primary color is black. It just looks kinda cool. I like the white letters with the red trim instead of doing something like red letters with a white trim. And that logo is just so cool. It reminds me of a nightmare that I had when I was really little. I think the Calgary Flames deserve to be at least A tier. Up next we have the Carolina Hurricanes. I like this jersey a lot. I like the use of gray rather than white. I don't know why, I just like gray. I like the callback to the original team, the Hartford Whalers. I'd say this one's solid A tier too. Next we have the Chicago Blackhawks. I like the red and the black, but I've never been a fan of the Blackhawks jerseys. I don't know, they just kind of all look the same. It just kind of looks like a standard hockey jersey, instead of something special, which is what this was supposed to be. So because Chicago starts with C, it's going in the C tier. Plus I'm not a huge fan of the design. Up next we have the Colorado Avalanche. This one's pretty cool. I like the use of the old Quebec Nordiques logo. For those who don't know, the Nordiques moved from Quebec to Colorado, and then they became the Colorado Avalanche. I kinda wish they had used a slightly darker blue, and I also wish they had reversed the letter on the chest, having the inside be that more maroon color and the outside be the blue. And that's mostly because the entire jersey is predominantly red, and to me that letter just kinda clashes. I don't know, it's kind of a cool design. I'll put it in B tier. Up next we've got the Columbus Blue Jackets. To me this just screams discount Washington Capitals. If I saw them playing in this jersey without seeing the logo, I would assume that it was the Washington Capitals that were playing. They're the Blue Jackets, and they didn't even have blue as their main color. Now they're the Redcoats. I think the Redcoats go to C tier, and it saddens me to do that because I like the Columbus Blue Jackets. Up next we have probably my least favorite one on the list, the Dallas Stars. There are two things that really bother me about this jersey. The first is the white patch that says Dallas Stars. I personally would have just kept it gray. It just sort of sticks out and looks really weird to me. But the thing that really bothers me about this jersey is that gap on the trim of the star that doubles as the A. It just really bothers me that there's that white space there. On the design that it's based off of, the trim goes all the way around the star, and I think it was a poor choice to do it the other way. This one definitely belongs in the D tier. This one's just terrible. And this isn't their first jersey that looks pretty bad. This is the jersey that they used for the outdoor game last year that they were part of. The Dallas Stars. They need to hire a new designer for their jerseys. Up next we have the Detroit Red Wings. Now it's pretty fitting that one of the worst teams in the NHL also gets one of the worst jerseys on the list. It's just so plain. The only bit of color is the numbers and the logo. I think it would have been really cool if they had done like red bars framing the silver. That would have at least made the jersey more colorful. I'm sorry, Detroit, this one's gotta go in D tier. D for Detroit. Up next we have the Edmonton Oilers. To me, this just looks like another Edmonton Oilers jersey. There's nothing really that new or original about it. I wish they had played around with this jersey instead. I think the logo is way cooler. And I think the colors are nicer too on this one. I don't think it's a terrible design, but it's not all that original, so I think it goes in C tier. Next we have the Florida Panthers, and I really like this one. I like the predominantly blue color scheme, but I think the best part about this design is those gold accents. I think in the original the yellow was just a little bit too bright, and the gold just looks really nice. I think the Florida Panthers get to be in A tier. Now to the West Coast with the Los Angeles Kings. I don't know, to me this design is just kind of basic. The bands on the sleeve and the trim on the bottom is just horizontal. The logo overall is just kind of dull. It's just not that interesting. I do like the purple, but that's about it. I think this one's a C tier jersey. Up next we have the Minnesota Wild. Now I really like this jersey. I like what they did with their logo, and I like that they picked white as the predominant color instead of green. To me this is just a nice clean design. Call me biased, but I'm putting it in S tier. I really like the original North Stars design, and I really like this new design too. After that we've got the Montreal Canadiens. Now I know they just reversed the colors, but I really like how it looks. I really like the way that the white letters just pop against that dark blue background. I think this one's an A tier jersey. Next we have the Nashville Predators. Now one of the things that I like about this jersey is that the colors on the sleeves are angled rather than just perfectly horizontal. I think that makes for a much more unique design. With that said though, the rest of the design is kind of meh. Plus it's yellow. I think this one is B tier. Next we're moving to New Jersey. This one looks like Christmas threw up on it, but it is unique, I'll give them that. I think because of the Christmas theme though, they're going in C tier. It's just not one of the best color schemes on this list. After that we've got the New York Islanders. This is one of the most disappointing jerseys on this list. They essentially took their current jersey and just made the blue darker. Now I like their current jersey, but this was an opportunity to do something creative, and they completely missed the mark. It would have been so cool for them to bring back this fisherman logo, and I think it would have been really cool to have a jersey that was predominantly that light blue color. It would have looked very unique, not just for their jerseys, but just in the NHL in general, and I think it would have been really cool. For missing the mark so hard, they go straight to D tier, and they deserve all the backlash that they got for it. Up next we've got the New York Rangers. Now I like the Statue of Liberty logo, and I like the angled armbands, but I think it needs a little bit more red accent, whether that's in the shoulders or a band at the bottom. It just needs a little bit more. It's too plain as is. For that, it's going in C tier. Now we're going abroad with the Ottawa Senators. This one's a pretty clean design, but that's about all I can say about it. I'd say this one belongs in B tier. Up next we have the Philadelphia Flyers. I like this design a lot. I like how they used that black for the sleeves and the shoulders. I think it looks really nice, and I love that little orange accent on the sleeve too. I think it's an interesting and good looking design. This one's A tier. Next we have the Pittsburgh Penguins, and this design sucks. I wanted to see the robot penguin logo. This one's just really boring. It just says Pittsburgh diagonally. What's cool about that? This one's gotta go right to D tier. Now to the West Coast with the San Jose Sharks. San Jose has my favorite color scheme in all of the NHL. I love that teal color, and they're the only team in the NHL that uses it. I think the gray works really well. It really makes that shark logo pop. I like the diagonal armbands, and I just think it's a really nice looking jersey. This one I'm putting in S tier. Up next we have the St. Louis Blues. It's visible, I'll give them that. But in all seriousness, I kind of like this design. I like the use of the really thin stripes. They're one of the only teams that has those really thin accents, and I think it looks really nice. I also like how it's at an angle rather than being perfectly horizontal, and I think the color combination works really well. All in all, I'd say this is an A tier jersey. Now for the Tampa Bay Lightning. I'm not a huge fan of this design. I think it looks a lot like their current design, just with their old logo. and it's just not all that interesting. I think this one's C tier. Now to Canada again, with the Toronto Maple Leafs. The logo in the center is gigantic, and the rest of the jersey is just kinda dull. I'm not really sure why they chose gray. Their colors are white and blue. I also don't really like that the letters are just blue on blue. I think if they had added white along with the silver, it would have been fine, but because they didn't, it's just a really dull jersey. I'm sorry, Toronto, this one's D tier. Staying in Canada, we have the Vancouver Canucks. Now this jersey is unique. It's the only one that features a gradient, and I love it. I also like the sleeves, and I like the white trim on everything. I think this is a really nice looking jersey, and it's cool because it's the only one on this entire list that features a gradient. This one is definitely S tier. Now to Las Vegas with the Vegas Golden Knights. This is the newest team to enter the NHL, so it's hard for them to do a retro jersey. You can kind of see their inspiration for it, and I think it would have been cool to use those colors, although I am biased towards those colors. But it would have given them one really unique jersey. I don't know, this one just isn't all that interesting to me. I think it's C tier. Next we'll be taking a trip to the nation's capital with the Washington Capitals. I love their old eagle logo, and I like how all the stripes are lined up with it, but I also like how they kind of mixed their current colors in with it. I think it's a really nice design. I think this one's solid A tier. Finally, we have the Winnipeg Jets. This one might just be my favorite on the list. I like the gray, I like the old Winnipeg Jets logo. I just think it's a really nice looking design. I really like the light blue accents around the letters and numbers, and I just think that dark gray is such a unique color. More teams should be using dark gray. This one's just straight to S tier. And with that, that brings us to the end of our list. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you disagree with anything, as always, let me know. I'm not going to do anything about it, but I still want to know. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Thomas Mancala. Goodbye.